Hey there guys, welcome back to a brand new Flick Pick live show. This is it, don't get scared now. Thank you so much for joining me once again. It's been a few days past due since we've done the last live show. I usually like to do one of these a week. It's been a little bit over a week, but I will say this, this last week was sort of stressful. There was a lot of lows, some very stressful lows, and then there were some very nice highs, figuratively and literally. But either way, yeah, it was just a really bad week, but then it turned out to be a pretty good week. So with all that said, thank you so much for joining me once again, where you guys can ask anything and everything you guys want to down below, and I will answer that shit. But before we jump into the questions, and we already have a few questions ready to go, and some good ones, let me double check and make sure you guys can hear me real quick. Okay, we can. I first want to do a quick Blu-ray unboxing. This just showed up today, and I have to talk about it, and then we'll dive into the questions. Yeah, so I got this film today called Juice from Paramount. Now, I want you to look at the packaging on this. Look at this. I don't know if this is a 4K movie or a pancake, but either way, I want to open this. It looks like the UPS guy drove over this 14 times with his truck, and after 14 times, he's like, yeah, one more will do it. That's good. Yeah, this thing is flat. This thing is crushed. It is flat. I don't know what happened to this, but I want to unbox it because it's just crumbling apart in my hands. Pieces of this were just falling off of my car as I took it from my mailbox into my house. So let's slide off the slipcover here. Oh, that's lovely. Look at that. Isn't that lovely? Don't you love to get things like that in the mail? I love it. Now, when it comes to the film Juice, I've always really liked this. I remember the first time I watched it on HBO back in like 1996. I was like, oh, that's sort of an interesting film. So yeah, it has Tupac in it, Omar Epps. I've always really liked like urban culture films. Like, something about them, I've always found them so immersive. So either way, let's take off the plastic on this because we don't need anything to open it. It's just gonna fall off. It's like my 4K disc has leprosy. It's just falling apart. Look, did you see the chunk of plastic just fall off? Look, this is what, just opening that. That's what fell into my hand. Now this comes from Paramount. Look at this shit. I love it. Now let's open it up. Hang on. Oh Jesus. As you can see in the case here, this nice cover they have there with a beautiful slipcover I just took off. There's the digital download copy code. But look at that. Don't you love when things like that just happen in life? Now here, let's check out the disc though. Let's check out the disc. The disc is okay. The disc is actually the disc is the only thing not broken with this 4K here. But look at just how does that happen? Did they set a refrigerator on top of this box that this came in? Thanks, Paramount. But either way, you know what? I can't complain too much. It was free. They did send me that for review purposes. And there's my review and my unboxing. The disc is okay, so maybe if I can replace the case with another case or something, and maybe it'll be okay. So yeah, here's Tupac on 4K. I will watch this at some point again one day, but that bothered me. Also, I got Cobra Kai Season 3 on DVD. Now, once again, this is another review copy sent to me, and do I wish it was like on a Blu-ray, which I don't even think they put this. Did they put the Cobra Kai Season 3 out on Blu-ray? I did not see a copy of this anywhere. But either way, it's on DVD. Like, what is this, 2007? I'm not sure. But it's cool to have. I'm glad I do. I'll probably do a giveaway for this at some point. So yeah, I liked Cobra Kai Season 3. I think it was the weakest season thus far in the entire episodic seasons of the show, but and by the way, I'm only halfway done with Cobra Kai Season 4, but I do like it. John Kreese is just the epitome of evil, isn't he? No matter what you say to that guy, he's like a brick wall. No mercy. Yeah, in Vietnam, we never gave up, did we? When you were in that bamboo cage, you were crying for mercy. And who was there? Me, John Kreese. Sweep the leg. I like that. Anyway, when I'm an old man, I hope to be like John Kreese. And last but certainly not least, Well, actually, I wasn't a big fan of this movie. It's Halloween Kills, the extended cut. I didn't like this. I didn't like this movie. I love me some Michael Myers. I was hoping this would be a great horror film, but man, it's like they just put nostalgic characters in here for no reason, and there was no payoff. They didn't do anything fun with them. Like Tommy, he came back. Anthony C. Hall played him, and I was like, I felt like there was so much potential to do things with his character, but it just felt like they got lazy. Like I was like, you hired screenwriters. They sat around and wrote this movie, and that's the best shit they could come up with. That was it. That was the best ideas you had to blow $20 million on. Yeah, that was it. And it's like you have Michael Myers, you can do what you want to with the character, and that's what you're going to do. So either way, what I'm going to do, guys, is because I like you more than anyone else, and I do appreciate you guys coming by to watch the live streams, and we will dive into the questions in just one more minute. I will be doing a giveaway of this. So there's an extra copy that the studio will actually send to you guys. So what I need you guys to do, and it has to be after the live show. It has to be afterwards. So once this live show is done being live and it gets re-uploaded to YouTube, which should be instantaneously after we're done live, go to the comment section. Give the video a like. You can give the video a like right now. So that's step one. Get that out of the way. It's so easy. And then step two is I need you guys to comment under the video once it's uploaded live on this channel or published live, and leave a comment down below and just say, hey, I want the movie and why. I don't care what the reason is. I just need to know your username, and then I will get in touch with you. So either way, I will be doing a giveaway of that. So do what I just said. Give the video a like. Leave a comment down below after the live stream once the video is published on YouTube. And then I will pick one, and the studio will actually send you a copy of this bad boy. So that's my gift to you guys, since I like you. All right, let's dive into the questions, guys. Halloween Kills was so disappointing. I do agree. I would say the same thing about another horror film that just came out, but people are oddly enough praising it, and that's okay. All film is subjective, but I stand by my opinions on the new Scream movie. All right, I'm going to dive into that because we actually did have a few things relating to the new Scream movie in here. We had Josh Coffey, who's been a member for 9 months. Thanks, Josh. Flick Pick Scream 5 was great. Still love you, bro. I'm glad you enjoyed it, man. And if you can enjoy any movie, hey, there's weird movies I enjoy that I don't necessarily think are that great, but I still love them. And if you just wanted to, like, here's the thing with Scream. I actually was going to do a video with all my complaints. It was going to be a spoiler video. And when it comes to spoiler videos, I'm kind of weird. I like to wait way longer after the movie. Like, I like to wait like 5 days after the movie's been out. For some reason, like when people put out spoiler videos like the day of a release, something about that irritates me. I'm like, just fucking wait and get your 5 clicks later. Like, you don't need to put out your spoiler video on the release day. Just wait 2 days. That used to be the gold standard on YouTube years ago. When a new movie came out, no one put out spoiler reviews until like Sunday or Monday. I remember that specifically. Now it's like the day the movie comes out, I'm like, Jesus, people are desperate for views. But either way, I do want to have a video with all my complaints where I do spoilers for the film, because I have a lot of complaints. I feel like they're justified. But I'm glad you enjoyed the movie, man. I just thought it was the Kmart version reboot of the first movie. I was like, this new movie did nothing better than the 1996 movie. It did nothing better. And the only things it did do was copy and paste the things from the first movie, but did them all in a much lackluster way. And it felt like it was terribly directed. It felt like a guy who directed like low budget TV shows directed the new Scream movie. Like, it just didn't feel up to par. I don't know. I love the first movie. I just felt like this one was a letdown. Let's keep going here. All right, let's dive into the questions here. Sorry guys for that long intro, but I felt like it was needed and necessary. All right. Jonathan Comancho says, "Hey John, had a rough week too. My girlfriend's dog died, and on the same day I tested positive for the C word. Curious, do you have other crazy pizza delivery stories?" Oh man, that sucks. Sorry to hear that, man. Was it an old dog? Did it have a happy life? Yeah, I had the C. I call it the C. You can't say it on YouTube. We can't say it. It's a scary word. I had that too, and it sucked for about 3 weeks, and then life got better. But hey, good thing is you have natural antibodies now, so you're stronger and better than everyone else. So yeah, as far as pizza delivery stories, I've told so many here on YouTube already. I'm trying to think of something I haven't said already on YouTube. Okay, Okay, here's one. I remember there was an older gentleman that we deliver to often, and I always got along with old people very well, I like to think. I don't know why. I like to listen to what they have to say. So I remember this old guy invited me into his house, and I could just tell he's like an old dude, and he was kind of lonely, and it's like, I'll do whatever it takes for a tip, sir. So I come into his house, and he has like all these birds and like animals, and like it's a clean house, but it's still kind of creepy. It's a good place to be murdered, and I expected that's what was going to happen. But the other side of me was like, this is entertaining. Let's see what happens. So he's like showing me he showed me like his living room. Like I didn't go deep and like I didn't walk into his basement, but he was like showing me his animals and his birds, and like I remember he had like a TV from like 1953, and it was just really odd and bizarre. And then the thing is, he always gave me a really good tip just for like hanging out and listening to him. I was trying to think where I was going to go with that story. Oh, so the weird thing, I remember one time I pulled up and he's like, what kind of car is that? And I was driving like a Chevy Impala at the time. And he's like, oh, that's a sexy little car. I was like, yeah, you're right. It is a sexy little car. So either way, that's a pizza delivery story. Let's just keep going. That's a true story too. All right, let's go to the next one here. And we will talk about movies at some point, I promise you. We got Daniel Jones, and Daniel says, do you have a girlfriend at the moment, my good man? And what's on the menu for dinner tonight? Yes, I do have someone I'm talking to and spending time with. And what's for dinner tonight? Man, I ate a wrap I bought from the grocery store 2 days ago. I ate that with some sun chips, 2 pickles, and then for dessert, I had some cheesecake. And that was delicious. But going into the late night, I have a delicious Costco pizza in the freezer with my name on it. All right, that's what's for later. And you got to put crushed red peppers on it, like a lot of crushed red peppers. Oh, it's so good. All right, the next one comes from DJ Run. He says, what's the best movie in the 1990s, 2000s, 2010s? That's too tough. The 90s were jam-packed with nothing but banger after banger. I mean, it just depends what genre. You have to narrow it down to genres for me. You know, so if I had to go to like I couldn't even pick my favorite action movie of the 1990s. You know, if I had to pick like a drama from the 90s, like an overall movie I loved, like it might be like Forrest Gump, or it might be like Shawshank Redemption for like the drama category. Going into the 2000s, early 2000s, like Gladiator might be one of my favorite movies of those like first 5 years into the 2000s, into the 2010s. And then you had like The Dark Knight, 2008, 2010s. I'm gonna go like Nightcrawler. I loved me some Whiplash. You had Mad Max Fury Road coming out in 2015. I'd say those are a few of the movies. The next one comes from James Dozier. Hey John, hope you're doing great and well. Well, I am doing great and well, and thanks to you, and I hope all of you are doing great as well. Let's go to the next one here, and thanks James. Kyle says, John, I need your help. I haven't been able to find Nightcrawler on Blu-ray, and I've been checking for months. Any idea where I might be able to find it? eBay. It's probably like $3.93 on eBay. Go check it. That's where I would recommend. Or go to a pawn shop, man. That should not be a hard movie to find whatsoever. I'm still waiting for that shit to come out on 4K. Why is it not on 4K? I don't know. The other thing is, you know what's crazy? I went to Best Buy earlier today, and I was looking at TVs, and I was thinking, like, after Christmas, the prices on said TVs would probably drop because less people are enticed right now to buy such things. But no, the prices went up. Shortages. I don't know what's happening. And they still had on the sticker, they're like, new model, 2021. I'm like, that seems inaccurate at this point. All right, let's go to the next one here. Kyle says, I just gave you, we just talked about Kyle's question. Night King 01 says, the acting in the new Scream was pretty atrocious. Yeah, I'm kind of savoring my hate and my flavor for my spoiler video for the new Scream movie. But man, like, what characters did you like? And besides the legacy characters that are already established and have charisma as actors, which new characters in the new movie did you actually enjoy? Like, who had a screen presence? Because when it came to the twist, I was like, that was not earned. I don't buy it whatsoever. It felt forced. It felt contrived. And it just felt like, because. They did it because. Like, there was no new motivation. There was no reason to even make this movie. Like, the first movie, like, when it came to Stu and Billy Loomis as the killers, you're like, yeah, these guys seem like sociopaths. There's definitely something wrong with Stu, from a mental standpoint, definitely. But when it came to like the new group of characters, it's just like they just were like, oh, you're a normal person one day, and now you're just crazy. Okay, sure, whatever. And like it's just like I hate movies like that. It felt like a made for MTV show, and once again, Scream was a made for MTV show at one point, and that's what this felt like. So, Jalen Martin says, "Hey John, I think I'm going to start a YouTube channel. Any advice, man? The best advice I can give you when it comes to starting a YouTube channel is just start it. Just do it. Yeah, you just got to start, man. Just start putting out one video a week. Whatever you want to talk about, whatever your passion is, talk about it, go for it. That's the best way to start. Some of your early videos will probably not be the greatest, but you'll learn. And after a year of doing it, you'll probably fall into like a style and get the rhythm and get some momentum. But my best advice is just start, man. Plan out a video, have some notes, follow your notes, make the video. And if you fuck up, hey, that's what editing is for. It'll make you better. That's what a lot of people do on YouTube. They hide behind editing. Why? Because it makes them look more competent. I, on the other hand, do live shows where I look completely incompetent and utterly insane. But either way, thank you for joining me once again. The next one comes from Alex Carr. Hey, I just saw Scream the other day and thought it was good. Would have been better if annoying teenagers didn't talk the entire time, but enjoyable. I'd rank it 1, 5, 2, 4, 3. I would honestly probably put 1, and then going back and like comparing 2 to this, 2 looks like a masterpiece to me at this point. 3 I remember was just awful, but it's been a long time since I've seen it. By the way, if you guys do want some of my initial thoughts on Scream, I did put up a first reaction video after seeing Scream last week. I actually had to drive 2 hours to Columbus to a press screening. I did see the movie. It was a really cool like theater experience because it was press only. So the great thing is, compared to what you had to go through, is it was just me and like 7 other guys in the movie theater watching Scream in a huge auditorium, which was nice. The other thing was, it was probably accidentally one of my best first reaction videos ever after a movie, because I went down this hallway in this mall and I didn't know where I was at, and I got locked in the hallway, and it turned out to be like a creepy first reaction video, but talking about Scream. So like the vibe was just right. You couldn't plan something that good. So, but if you saw it, thank you for watching it. If you haven't, go check it out. It's over on the Flickpick channel. The next one comes from Lou, and Lou, thanks for the $1. No question, but thank you, Lou. Christian White says, do you want RS to finish the Alien prequels? At this point, when it comes to Ridley Scott, I love me some Ridley Scott. He's made some great movies, man. But at this point, it seems like he comes in with the best intentions, right? But somehow, someway, every movie he touches like falls apart by the third act. Especially when it comes to like the Alien franchise. Like Prometheus, great concept. Sort of fell apart at some points in the movie. Alien Covenant, pretty much enjoyed like the first half, and then you had David playing the flute, and it was just weird, and then it felt like tacked on fan service in the final 20 minutes of the movie. So I would love to see like another director come and do something with the Alien franchise, like a young, hungry director who has something to say in Hollywood. Denis Villeneuve, or I always mispronounce his name, but the director of such great films like Sicario. I would love if he directed an Alien film. Imagine that. That's what I would love to see. It would be a beautiful movie with aliens spitting acid into people's faces. That's what I want to see. The next one comes from Raymond Watt. And Raymond says, I feel Jurassic World Dominion, they should copy the Seinfeld finale and have all the heroes from the last movie sent to Hague for their crimes against humanity. I feel like I'm mispronouncing Hague. What are we talking? What? The Seinfeld last season? I don't remember that happening. If Jerry Seinfeld was in a Jurassic Park movie, he'd be like, "What's with all the dinosaurs? First you gotta eat them, then you gotta feed them." It doesn't even make sense. But either way, I'm looking forward to the new Jurassic World Dominion. I have high expectations, but like, it can only be a better Jurassic Park film than the previous one, right? Like, you can't make a worse movie than Fallen Kingdom, right? You can't do it. You can't make a worse Jurassic Park movie. Please don't fail me. Sorry if I misunderstood your question. Maybe I'm stupid. I don't know. It's been a long day. It's been a very long week, I'll be honest with you. Very, very, very long week. Joseph Knowles says, "Hey, John. I'm showing my younger brother Back to the Future for the first time. That movie never gets old. It really doesn't. Like, when I'm having a little bit of a down day, I just want to feel happy and take me to a happy place. You know, I just want to go I want to go 88 miles per hour in the DeLorean back in the 1980s with Marty McFly. 1.21 gigawatts. By the way, Back to the Future on 4K, it looks great, but man, oh man, those prosthetics are just dripping off of their faces. Look at Doc Brown's neck on the 4K Back to the Future. If you have like an HD TV, it literally looks like someone put like chicken skin and taped it to his neck. It's so great. Either way, it does not take away from the film though. All right. The next one comes from Pete Velasquez, and Pete says, "My Cowboys lost sadly. Rank Scream movies, please." Really, for me, when it comes to the Scream movies, I really like the first Scream movie, and everything else after that, I don't care about. That's my ranking of the Scream franchise. I just don't love them. I just don't feel like any of the sequels had that rewatchability factor, that like that it factor. The first movie, man, it was just like rock solid. Like, there was no fat on the bone. It was like lightning in a bottle. It was just like boom, boom, boom. Like, no wasted anything. Just like, here's a movie well made, has some meta like humor, and it acknowledges the horror franchise for what it was. It was like almost ahead of its time. And then everything after that just felt like less than, you know, it just, which is unfortunate. You know, I know some people like, you know, like, once again, if you want to see Ghostface stabbing people, all of the movies give you that. If that's what you want to see, so be it. But like that's like me saying, like, I love me some Nightmare on Elm Street. I love me Freddy Krueger, but there's some pretty terrible fucking Nightmare on Elm Street movies. Let's just be honest. There's some really bad ones. But there's also some really good ones. But it doesn't mean you have to blindly love all of them just because Freddy Krueger's in the movie. So I think I answered your question there. And if I didn't, I'm sorry. But I think I did. The next one comes from Mason Arnold. What's your Scream movie rank? We just talked about that. Like I said, love the first one. Everything after that, just, you might as well put it into a blender. Like, I definitely would rather watch Scream 2 over like any of the other movies, but I don't necessarily feel like ever rewatching Scream 2. Like, I like the opening scene though, where Jada Pinkett Smith dies. Take that how you will. The next one comes from Will. Thoughts on Ridley Scott's The Last Duel? I liked it. I did overall like The Last Duel. It's sort of like the type of movie I do enjoy. It bombed hard at the box office, and then everyone's coming out with like, well, these types of movies don't do well anymore, and they're essentially like, Hollywood's looking at movies like that, and that was a good testament for Hollywood, because pretty soon it's going to get to the point where Hollywood's going to stop making movies like that, and what they're going to do is they're either going to make super low budget movies, or they're going to make just IP movies. And what are IP movies? Movies like Batman, The Avengers, Spider-Man, shit like that. When it comes to movies like The Last Duel, you're not going to see those hit theaters anymore. Like, you might see them on Netflix. You might see them as like a mini series or something along those lines. But I don't think Hollywood's going to be pumping hundreds of millions of dollars into movies like that anymore. They're just probably not. So we're going to get to a point when it comes to the movie theater system where you see maybe 40 or 50 movies a year come out. You're not going to see 100, 200 movies anymore. You're going to see like 100 or like 50 huge movies come out in theaters. Everything else it's going to come to streaming. I really feel like that's the future. But I liked The Last Duel. I think it did. But then again, The Last Duel was no Gladiator, right? You know, it was sort of like a one-watch movie. And then it does have that one sequence where it gets a little bit repetitive, where you see the same event occurring through everyone's perspective, and the pace essentially just stops. That was my biggest issue with it. I thought there might have been another way to do that and handle it. But overall, I did enjoy the movie. I love time period films. Hudson G says, will the Batman be better than Batman Mask of the Phantasm? I hope it is. I mean, yeah, I know I like Batman Mask of the Phantasm, but like I'm more of like a fan of like Batman Begins, The Dark Knight. So as far as the new Batman movie, man, it's my number one most anticipated. I need it to be good. If it's not, this year's off to a terrible start. I'm just looking forward to like Jackass coming out next month. I don't know. All right, the next one comes from Joshua Garrison. Have you seen the YouTube channel Hack the Movies? Hack the Movies. I don't know. Maybe I have. I'm sure I have. There's so many channels I come across. Really, I've said this before. I'll say it again. When it comes to like YouTube stuff, I typically watch a lot of. I watch things not related to movies whatsoever. Because I talk about movies so much, I make videos about movies. I rarely have the urge to watch YouTube channels about movies. Like, I watch YouTube channels about the weirdest shit. I actually found a guy today or a week ago, and he sort of... You guys know I make flick trips where I used to go to pawn shops looking for movies at low price deals. Well, this guy does the exact same thing, except he buys video games, and for him, it's all about, like, reselling the video games. And I was like, yeah, see, that's kind of what I started 10 years ago. I was like, that's similar. So I watched like his stuff, and it's about video games. For some reason, I find it interesting. I'm not like a video game collector, but I like watching it. The next one, Greg Harris says, another disappointing January release, Scream, 2 thumbs down. Yeah, I didn't like it. A lot of people do. Sometimes when I read comments, I read comments on my own video. I read comments under other people's reviews for the new Scream movie. And it just like, it almost scares me how much people thought it was like this great second coming of Jesus Christ. I'm like, you have seen the original movie, right? So it's only fair to compare both movies. So how do you not notice the dip in quality in this newest movie? Like, it should get better, but it's not. It's just the same shit you saw before, but less. It's so interesting to me. It's like, this is why Netflix is taking over. Like, you can make mediocrity nowadays, and for some odd reason, it gets put on this pedestal where people think it's really good. So what happens is the new norm in Hollywood movies is mediocre movies become the norm. So we're going to be expected to expect less, and that's going to be like normalcy going forward, which terrifies me. Always expect more. Want a better movie. I know it's just a slasher movie with Ghostface in it, but it can be so much more than that if you just allow it to be. Elevate it to the next level. Make people want to talk about this film. Because the thing with the new Scream movie is, give it 1 week, maybe 2. Give it 2 weeks. No one's going to talk about this again. No one's going to remember this movie in 20 years like they did the 1996 Scream movie. And that's really unfortunate. But I'm glad people liked it. Honestly, the first 10 minutes of the new Scream movie, I was like, is this PG-13? Is this, like, because nothing was, like, crazy. And then eventually, like, someone gets stabbed in the mouth. But, like, for the first, like, 15 minutes of the movie, I was like, this could be a PG-13 movie. Tell me they didn't do this. And then I was like, okay, at least they made it rated R. Which I was happy with. The next one comes from Andrew Dotteridge. Dotteridge? That's a cool name. Watch Halloween Kills this morning. Very bad. Yeah, that's another horror film. I didn't like this. I didn't like this. I tried to. I wanted to. I was hoping it was going to be good. And like it's another, just some of the decisions they made. I was like, nobody wanted to watch this. Like, nobody wants to see this happening in your movie. Like, it felt like they were trying to find every excuse on Halloween Kills to get away from Michael Myers and fill the runtime with something, because they didn't have enough for Michael Myers to do, so they had to like tack in other stuff, and just some of it didn't make any sense, really. I don't want to spoil it, but like, it really didn't. It didn't, like, the way a few of the characters died just felt so sloppily done. I was like, you can come up with something better than that. So the next one comes from, I'm just shitting on new horror films. That's what this live stream is. I just shit on new horror films. It's because they're all bad. AJ Winslow says, hey, John, are you aware of the recent release of T2 4K? Unfortunately, it's the same 4K disc from the 2017 release. I am, and AJ, what I would recommend is you go watch a video, because no one saw it because YouTube didn't put it in your sub box, from early December. It's a brand new 4K movie update video. It's like 20 minutes long. I talk about the 4K steelbook of T2. I talk about the new James Bond limited No Time to Die collection that came with the Aston Martin car. So go watch that over on the Flickpick channel. It's from early December. I'm wearing a Santa hat in the thumbnail. So go check that out. Yeah, I think you'll enjoy it. I talked all about it. So yeah, that does suck. I don't know why they... Well, it's because James Cameron signed off on that transfer, and that's why for some reason James Cameron, like, directors just want to destroy their old movies and make everything look like a modern day flat movie with no soul. Like, they want to get rid of the film grain. I'm like, no, stop doing that. Movies shouldn't look like Avatar, James Cameron. So yeah, I was disappointed. Joseph Knowles has been a member for 3 months. Joseph, you've been a member longer than that, but either way, thanks, Joseph. Favorite movies to watch during summer? Well, that's like another 6 months away, man. But if I had to pick a Book of Boba Fett, we can talk about that shit if you want to. But let me answer this question here. Okay, in summertime, you have to watch Jaws. That's one. You have to watch The Sandlot. That's another movie. I'm trying to think of... I actually have a video like talking about 4th of July movies you should watch. Oh, Independence Day. You got to watch Independence Day. Today is our Independence Day. I'm Pilot. I can fly. I love me some Randy Quaid. Yeah, those are a few movies I like to watch in the summer. The next one comes from DJ Run. Can you do a Morgan Freeman impression as Ghostface from Scream? Now, Sonny Jim, I'm going to gut you like a fish. You either get busy living or you get busy dying. I'm in your closet right now. Yeah, that's all I have for you. I'm sorry. But I would have loved... Now, if I was Ghostface the Killer, that's what I would do. That would be my voice. I just do the Morgan Freeman impression. Thank you for allowing me to do that. Frederick Lebrun. Frederick Lebrun. Are you French Canadian? All right. Hey, John. What's your opinion on the rumors of Ben Affleck making a cameo as Daredevil in Doctor Strange 2? Hope you're doing great. Well, thank you for that, man. I've heard that rumor. That would be really cool. The issue is, and here's why I would probably not count on that happening. It's a cool rumor. And it had that had it been like 2 years ago. I feel like I'm about to have an aneurysm. So here's why it's probably not going to happen. Ben Affleck has come out and said, you know what? I'm tired of being comic book characters. That's all anyone gives a shit about. Every time I'm in an interview, no one asks me about anything else I'm doing other than Batman. I think he's did it. He's done with it. So to come back as a comic book character once again would kind of like be backpedaling, and that would not help make his point whatsoever, because he specifically said he wants to stop being comic book characters. So do you think he's going to come back in and cameo as one of the worst adaptations of a comic book character to have that conversation start right back up again? I highly doubt it. I highly doubt that would ever happen. So no, I don't think that's happening. I'd bet money on it that it's not going to happen. The next one comes from Claudio Rogajan. Scream 5 repeated so much from the first movie. Yeah, it was a sloppy, lazy reboot. It was the Kmart version of Scream, made by lackluster talent, written by terrible screenwriters. I hated everything about the movie. I just think it's an awful movie. It really is. It was it was boring to watch. It felt cheap. I was like, how much did this movie cost? It felt like the Netflix movie of the week. Actually, that's not fair. I think the screenwriters of the new Scream movie I feel like they wrote something that was decent, but I also know they directed one of the VHS movies and something else. Mike Spoon says, hey, John, I'm snowed in right now, and I'm so glad you're streaming. I watched Wrath of Man with Jason Statham yesterday, and it was terrific. I'm Jason Statham. So sad I missed it last year. I think you'd love it. It's a heist/action film that is directed very well. Yeah, I've heard good things about Wrath of Man. Yeah, the thing with Jason Statham is he just does a movie once a week, so sometimes it's hard to pick and choose which one you want to watch and waste your time on. Because a lot of them I do feel like I'm wasting my time on. He's kind of like the modern day equivalent of Jean-Claude Van Damme, except Jason Statham can act a little bit better. But yeah, man, yeah, good luck being snowed in. Where do you live that you're snowed in? It's weird. Like I know places like in the southern part of the United States have snow, and people are like, oh, we're snowed in, there's a blizzard. And they take pictures outside, and there's like a sprinkling of snow, like it's a quarter inch of snow. I'm like, you don't know anything until you move to Indiana. Anthony Gonzalez says, in the new Scream movie, Yeah, okay. Yeah, Anthony, I don't want to spoil anything, but yeah, I'm not going to read that spoiler. But yes, I do agree with you. It was very reminiscent of another movie, the way someone else died. I noticed that instantly. That's what I specifically want to talk about, how on the nose it was, especially with the casting and some of the things they copy from better movies that came out before this movie. Yeah, I do agree. I was like, what are they doing? I hated it. I couldn't believe they were doing it when I saw it. I was like, that seems like some kind of copyright infringement, slightly. If you did something like that on YouTube, they'd take away your monetization. Azine the Dream Reviews. Hey, John, are you vaccinated yet? Yeah, I'm naturally vaccinated. I have antibodies. I ask because every time I tell myself I want to get it, then I don't do it. I heard you had COVID as well. God damn it, you're making me say the C word. As well, how did you recover naturally? Well, you see, you should recover naturally unless you have like a pre-existing condition. That's the great thing about the human body. It has this ability to fight infections, and if you're healthy, it'll probably do that. So, yeah, it sucked for 2 weeks. I'm not gonna lie to you, dude. Like, some people they get it and they're like, I had a cold for 2 days. I'm like, I had it and I like felt like shit for 2 weeks. I really did. The worst thing for me was when I had it, I didn't even have a cough. I barely even had a runny nose. The thing that the biggest detriment with having it for me was I had a fever, and my fever would like come and go for like 10 days. That was the worst part. Like, that sucked. But like, my stomach was fine. I still had like an appetite. The worst part was just laying in bed feeling hot, and like you can't do anything about it. And then you take a shower, then you instantly like get all sweaty and you sweat through your clothes and your bed's covered in sweat. It looks like a chalk outline of a dead body in your bed like that. And you're just like, ugh. It makes you want to gag just looking at it. So for me, that was the worst aspect about it. But, you know, if you look at the scientific research on it, and I'm no doctor, I'm just a guy who makes YouTube videos, and at points I barely do that. But, you know, the great thing about getting it was it sucked. I had it. But now I have natural antibodies now that should last roughly about a year. And then what you have in your body is you have cell memories that even if the antibodies wear off, your cells in your body contain these. They sort of remember the virus and how to fight it if you get it again. So that's one benefit. But you know, right now you sort of have to get vaccinated almost like I was gonna go to Chicago. I wanted to go there early January just for something to do. And now in the city of Chicago, you have to be vaccinated to like go anywhere. So, yeah, man. So no, I'm not. James Dozier says, "Have you seen the movie Stakeout from 1987? Is that with I could be completely stupid right now. Gordon Bombay, Emilio Estevez. Is Emilio Estevez in Stakeout, or am I making that up? Is Emilio Estevez in Stakeout? Let me know in the comment section, guys. All right. Yeah, let me know. Let me know if Emilio Estevez is in Stakeout. I feel like he was. Maybe I'm mistaken. Maybe I'm thinking of something else. Joshua Garrison says, is Matthew Lillard the best part of Scream 96? Absolutely, man. I'll be right back. Like that, the character of Stu is missing chromosomes. That's all I'm going to say. Richard Dreyfuss is in Stakeout. Richard Dreyfuss. Then I'm not thinking of the right movie. I feel like I have seen Stakeout. I can't place it in my brain. Richard Dreyfuss is in Stakeout. Yeah, God, I don't remember it then. I forgot where I was now. I was thinking so hard about Stakeout. All right, the next one comes from Joseph Knowles. Should they remake The Karate Kid and Jason Statham can play Mr. Miyagi? Kevin Hart can play Daniel, and Tony Revolori can play Johnny. No, they shouldn't do that. They really shouldn't. They should. You know what? I think Billy from Stranger Things. What's his name? Darcy something. I think Billy from Stranger Things would make a good Johnny, like in like a Karate Kid movie. But no, they shouldn't remake it. We have Cobra Kai. We had the Jaden Smith Karate Kid movie, and the best thing about that was Jackie Chan playing the new Mr. Miyagi. But outside of that, no, we're done. We're done. No more, please. Mason Arnold says, my friend and I are taking off work to see the Batman. I haven't felt this way since I skipped class to see Infinity War. You know how many times I skip school to see movies? Often. And I respect things like that. Because you know what? In 20 years, you're not going to remember that day that you missed in math class learning about shit that you don't need to know. No. You're going to remember that day where you skipped school to go see the Batman movie. That's a memory that's going to last a lifetime, and I stand by that. Yeah, I used to skip school. I skipped school to see movies like Lord of War. Why? I don't know. I skipped school to see V for Vendetta. There's a few other movies, or a few other times I skipped school to see movies. Also, I used to call off work all the time to see movies. Like if there was a midnight showing of a movie when I delivered pizzas, I was like, yeah, my car's broken, it blew up. I gotta, whatever. I gotta go see The Dark Knight. I don't fire me. I don't care. That was like my mentality back then. It's always better to ask for forgiveness than permission. Just remember that. So, yeah, I respect things like that. Jaden Smith Karate Kid is so good. It's actually a fairly well-made movie. I actually will not crap on the Jaden Smith Karate Kid movie. I won't. Now, with that said, I'm going to crap on it now. The only bad thing about the Jaden Smith Karate Kid movie is Jaden Smith. I really feel like he wasn't bad. He wasn't bad necessarily. But if it could have been another actor that wasn't Will Smith's son. Like, I thought he did okay. But the other thing about that movie was, I feel like the kids they were focusing on for the Karate Kid movie were like just a year or two too young. Like, they should have been like 2 years older than they were to like justify some of like the brutality and some of the fight scenes in that movie. I'm like, fourth graders don't beat each other's asses like this. That was my criticism with the movie. All right, let's keep going here. Carter Lovejoy says, "Have you watched the Beatles Get Back docuseries on Disney Plus?" I have not watched the Beatles docuseries. I've heard it's pretty good. I like the Beatles. I'm not like the hugest fan, but yeah, at some point I'd like to check it out. It's officially coming to Blu-ray next month, which is the first for a Disney Plus exclusive. Do you hope to see more Disney Plus shows get a Blu-ray 4K release? Well, the reason something like the Beatles is coming to 4K is because it's a one-off. It's not a ongoing series that necessarily justifies getting a subscription to Disney Plus, and that's why you don't see like things like Mandalorian hitting 4K Blu-ray, because they want you to get that Disney Plus subscription to go watch it. If you knew it was coming to 4K in 6 months, well, you might not be all that enticed to get the subscription service, and you'll just wait for the 4K. So they'd rather have your money every month than just one time. So yeah, I wouldn't count on it. A lot of the movies or a lot of the series coming to 4K, but maybe in a couple years, maybe they'll like wait until like the season's like 2 years old and then put it out or something like that. Wasn't there a few shows on like Netflix that they didn't ever release on 4K? I remember they waited a while for a few of them. But thanks for the question, Carter. James Dosher says, I just got the first Pirates movie on 4K. Would you say it is the only one worth watching? Okay, I will say the first Pirates movie is by far the best Pirates movie. Now, you could say the sequel's okay, but the first movie is like, it's perfect. It's everything it needs to be. Big and fantastical. It's a big, epic, fun action, swashbuckling adventure where it makes me want to swab the poop deck, whatever. But the thing about the new 4K release of the Pirates film is, it's really bad. It's a bad transfer. There's not much good to say about it. It basically, I think the Blu-ray of the new Pirates of the Caribbean, or the first Pirates of the Caribbean, looks better on Blu-ray than it does in 4K. Like, it's hardly worth the upgrade. A lot of things, from the research I did on it, it looks like the color timing is like off. The resolution isn't there. Like, the HDR doesn't really play any big effect. It's like, it just looks like a lazy transfer. So I would not recommend it at this point. Which is really unfortunate because it's like a movie that belongs on 4K. But Majestic Beast 01 says, thoughts on the movie Airplane 1980. The thing about movies like that is I get it. I get if you were watching it in the theaters in the early 80s and you thought it was really funny. For me, by the time I finally saw that, which would have been in like the early 90s as a kid, it just wasn't that funny to me. It felt like an SNL skit that went on for an hour and a half. And it's just like some of the slapstick humor. It's just like by that point, it's already been done in 800 other movies. Now, that might have been like the originator to some degree. But by the time I saw it, it just felt like I've already seen things like this before. So, yeah, I know some people like it, but I've never ever heard anyone say, you know what comedy movie I'm in the mood to watch tonight? Airplane. But I can appreciate it for what it is. Max Nugenbauer says, last night I finished my first viewing on Shawshank Redemption. It's good. No, Max, it's fucking great. That is the name of the movie. That is how you will talk about it. That is how you will reference it. It's fucking great. When your mother asks you, how was Shawshank Redemption, Max? You'll say it was fucking great. All right. Well, I hope you enjoyed it, man. I love it. Josh Coffey says, podcast recording tonight, flying to Indiana tomorrow. What for? No, the podcast, my Odin, my podcast host that we do the podcast, which is exclusively for YouTube members and Patreon supporters. We are recording a new episode of the podcast tomorrow. I put out and people on YouTube always miss this. If you guys are YouTube members and you support the podcast perk, go to the community tab right now on this channel. There's a community tab on my channel. Click it. You'll see a post on there that says, submit your questions for the podcast. You can submit your questions right there, and then we'll go into a deep dive of them when we record the podcast. So we talk about the questions. We have a discussion about it. Whatever it is, we talk about it for a few minutes at least. So it's always a good time. So yeah, we are recording a new episode of the podcast tomorrow. And when it comes to the podcast of this, where I said I was going to start uploading these to Spotify and other podcast places. I'm still working on it. I found a place where I'm going to start doing that. So at some point this month in January, these will officially become an audio version of the live shows where you can listen to it so you don't have to look at my stupid face for 2 hours. So look out for that. All right, the next one comes from Lou. And Lou says, I found the motive in Scream 5 dumb too. I agree. Were you also insulted by the toxic fandom theme? It was like the movie was made to bash fans who hated The Last Jedi. I didn't like The Last Jedi, so I get the meta references to movies that sort of just like destroy themselves. But then again, I'd rather watch a movie that takes chances than just copy and paste the same shit that's already been done better in another movie, like Scream 5. So yeah, I did pick up on that. But I think a lot of the references in Scream 5 were sort of to like highbrow horror films nowadays. How there's like movies like It Follows, things like that. And I thought those references made sense. Yeah. But no, I didn't think it was like toxic fandom, like a theme of toxic fandom. I didn't really pick up on that necessarily. Alex Carr says, thoughts on The Office Space and Clerks. I love Office Space. That is one of my favorite comedy movies of all time, brought to you by the creator of Beavis and Butthead. And when it comes to Clerks, by the way, I just went to a stand-up comedy show last night, and guess who was the stand-up comedian? Jason Mewes, Jay himself from Clerks. Snoochie boochies. I will say, like, his comedy routine, he's good. He does a pretty good job, but it felt like he was, like, rushing through it. Like, he didn't take a breath for an hour. Like, the dude was just like, he's like, yeah, and Clerks 3, me and Kevin made this movie, and then we did over this. Like, he talked like that for an hour straight. It was like, and then soon as he was done, he, like, ran out of the theater. Maybe he was tired. I don't know. But yeah, I love both of them. The first Clerks, man, that movie's a testament that if you're a talented filmmaker and you have no money, you can make a movie. The only problem is getting people to watch it. So you got to get lucky. But yeah, I love the first Clerks. By the way, Jason Mewes said at his show last night Clerks 3 should come out in May or June. And then they're also going to start Mallrats 2. They're starting Mallrats 2 soon after that. So I don't know if that's been announced yet, but that's what he said last night. They are honestly two of my favorite workplace comedies. Yeah, I love me some workplace comedies. If you want another great workplace comedy, watch the movie Waiting, starring Ryan Reynolds from 2005? 2004? Either way, the first Waiting movie is really good. If you've ever worked in a restaurant, it's definitely relatable. Dustin Rich says, is Michael Keaton in Flashpoint just shiny bait? No, he's in the movie, man. He's definitely in the movie. Michael Keaton is in Flashpoint. To what degree? Hopefully quite a bit. But he's in the movie. He's gonna be like the Iron Man to Flash. If that makes any sense. He's gonna guide Flash. So yeah, I hope he's not just in the movie for like 10 minutes. If they just turned the movie into like a Batman Michael Keaton movie and said, okay, fuck off Flash, go over here and run around in circles, I would be fine by that. But with everything coming out about the new Flash movie, I hope some of these rumors and speculations are wrong, especially with what they're doing with like the new Supergirl or whatever they call that, and Batgirl. Oh man. All right, the next one comes from DJ Run. Who would you cast as the 5 sharks in the Shark Tank drama film? In a Shark Tank drama film? What the fuck is a shark? I don't know. Can I instead of making a Shark Tank drama film, can I make Street Sharks the movie? I'd much rather do that. I'd like to see a live action Street Sharks movie. Am I the only one? I mean, think about it. King Shark was the best part of Suicide Squad. So now you just duplicate that with 5 other characters, and it's like it'd be a great movie. I don't know what that meant. A Shark Tank drama film? Oh, are you talking about like the show Shark Tank and making it into a movie? Who would I cast? I don't know, man. I don't know. Leonardo DiCaprio, Christian Bale, Jake Gyllenhaal, Danny DeVito, and I'll put a lady in here. Selma Hayek. I don't know. Could be the best or the worst movie of all time. Your Name Here. Easy Rider sucked, but made way for road trip films. I've seen parts of Easy Rider. I've never seen all of it with Dennis Hopper. So yeah, I never really sat down and watched it. It was like hippies riding motorcycles. I never sat down and watched it, man, really. But I love me some road trip movies. You know why I like road trip movies? Because the journey's always going, and they can always get themselves into odd, bizarre situations that completely make sense. Like, oh, we're going to drive here and go to a rest stop, and then we're going to drive over here and go to a restaurant, and then we're going to drive over here and almost get killed at this hotel. It's like a never-ending slew of like things you can do. And I just watched Road Trip the other day. I still like that movie. The next one, Your Name Here. What is it? Striker X24. Have you noticed movies have become very woke? Well, yes, yeah. Well, rather than just telling a story with artistic merits, now we have to get a political message in there. Hey, here's the story about this, but hey, I'm a director in Hollywood. Here's my political message. I'm so clever. I got that in there. That'll stand the test of time. Like, no, when I go into a movie, I want to be immersed. I don't want to think about politics and all this bullshit. Take me on a journey, tell me a story, make me forget about my miserable life, and let's just go for it. As soon as you introduce politics and wokeness into movies, it instantly just takes you out of it. It's like, I get it. I get that you're like all accepting and you like you support everything. I get it. That's fine. Don't put that in your movie. Put that on Twitter. If you want accreditation for your thoughts, put it on Twitter. Not in the movie. So yeah, I do agree with you. Crimson King says, opinion on rumor of Tom Cruise as alt Tony Stark. That would be really awesome. I think that would be great. Could it happen? Yes. But also, I feel like maybe Marvel doesn't want to undermine Robert Downey Jr. as Tony Stark. Take a drink of this. Hang on. I just feel like maybe that'll like be too goofy, and they want to kind of keep the sacrifice Tony Stark made very impactful. So rather than like replace him with Tom Cruise in an alternate universe being Tony Stark, maybe they'll leave it alone. But I mean, I'd like to see it. I mean, that would be awesome. It's like, would Tom Cruise do that? Maybe not. I mean, the guy does sort of have a sense of humor. I mean, he did Tropic Thunder. So if he could bring something like that to it, I'd definitely like to see it. The next one comes from Mike Peter. Can we talk about how bad Book of Boba Fett is? Okay, yeah. So I'm only on episode 2, and I'm sort of like a friend and I. What we do is we're gonna start watching 2 episodes back to back the same week. So we'll skip 1 week and then watch 2 episodes back to back just to like have an hour and a half of entertainment. And like honestly, the thing with the series, after the second episode, I'm like, I don't need to binge this. I don't need to watch every episode as soon as it comes out. I really don't. It just feels like a series that will not matter. Like it just feels like, here it is, name recognition. But man, I did see some clips of the chase scene in the new episode where it looks like the Power Rangers are getting on their little colored speed racers or whatever, and they're going like 3 miles per hour. Yeah, I don't know what's happening. I really don't. And really, the age thing doesn't make sense because you have the actor, and I get that they're kind of stuck casting the same actor that was in the in episode 2. I get why they cast him to come back because that's the face we're gonna put with Jango Fett, who's basically a clone. So now it's Boba Fett. But the thing is, if Book of Boba Fett takes place within like 5 years after Return of the Jedi, he looks too old to be the character he's being. Like, this guy is 60 years old, but he should be like 40-something years old. He just looks like an old man who's all stiff trying to do choreography. It's just like all slow, and I'm like, I just like this is not the biggest badass bounty hunter in the galaxy. It's just not. This is my grandfather wearing cosplay. That's what this is now. All right, the next one. Isaiah Fortis says, did you have any experience making videos prior to YouTube? I remember you saying once you wanted to have a public access show in high school. Yeah, so my friends and I used to make like wannabe jackass skits and videos. And we didn't really have what I would call like, there was no narrative in the videos we were making. Like I would edit the videos into like 20-minute things, but it was just like segment after segment after segment. So there was like shopping carts. Like me and my friends would push each other in shopping carts into bushes, and I'd film it well. Like it gave me a reason to like use my camcorder I got for my birthday. And I remember like we lit my friend's shoes on fire, then we peed him out. My one friend jumped off the top of like a 2-story building into a dumpster. Just all this great footage that I lost. I have like 10 minutes of footage remaining, and I might show a little bit of that in my my Jackass Forever movie review next month. But yeah, that's what we did. And back in 2002, 3, and 4, like YouTube was not a thing, and I was like, where do I put this shit? So I was going to the public access station. I was like going to put it on public access, which 3 people watched. That's what I was going to do. So if like YouTube had been around then, it definitely would have been a thing on YouTube then. But looking back on it, some of the things we did, I'm almost glad that's like hidden from the public eye. So I probably would have regretted it later on in life. But yeah, I did do things like that. That was sort of my first experience with making videos. Other than YouTube. I'll watch Obi-Wan. Oh yeah, I'll watch Obi-Wan. I have faith in the Obi-Wan series. I really do. I don't think Ewan McGregor would come back to star in it if it was a terrible script. So I have faith in that. Yeah. The next one comes from Saint Silo. I watched I watched Come to Daddy with Elijah Wood last night. I thought we were going to talk about a very different movie for a minute there. Not great, but I was wondering if you've seen it. Also, is your middle name a secret? What is it? Yeah, my middle name is a secret. And I need a, yeah, it is I don't share that with you guys. I'm sorry. Actually, it's not a secret. My middle name is actually the letter C. It's the letter C. I truly, it's just the letter C. I know that sounds weird and made up, but it is. That was my dad's name. That was his dad's middle name. And I think the reason is I don't really have a middle name, but just an initial, is because at some point years ago, it was common for people not to have a middle name. And then eventually they changed that. So I think my great grandfather might have just said, okay, make it C. What does it stand for? I don't know. I couldn't tell you. It stands for cookies. But no, I have not seen Come to Daddy. Carter Lovejoy. Carter Lovejoy says, did you ever watch Siskel and Ebert back in the day? Siskel and Ebert back in the day. Yeah, dude, I used to watch that. I used to watch it occasionally. The only thing is, their show was so short where they only got out 3 sentences about a movie. Well, I don't know. The profound thought had me thinking for years after that, but I didn't really like the movie. I'm going to give it 1 thumbs up. And then it was just so short and condensed. That's always what I remember, watching the segmented version of their show. I remember watching it as a kid thinking, wow, this is interesting. But now isn't it weird? Film criticism like that's all but dead. Nobody wants to watch criticism like that. It's kind of odd. But yeah, I did remember watching it back in the day, of course. Bo Cylinder says, hi, John. Thanks for warming up my cold life in Sweden. Well, I'm glad to keep you warm on a cold, lonely night, my good sir. Favorite TV series of all time? For me, it's Breaking Bad. For me, my favorite TV series of all time, and it's unfortunate the final season kind of sucked, but I'm going to go with Game of Thrones. Nothing's been that cinematic, that well crafted until the final season, with characters that I gave a shit about. Even third string characters in Game of Thrones, I was I want to watch what's happening. It's just so well made. Every episode felt like a movie. And Peter Dinklage, oh God. So yeah, I would say my all-time favorite is probably Game of Thrones. But thanks for the question. Michael Parton has been a member for 12 months. Yay! Hey John, I actually enjoyed the new Scream movie. Well, Michael, I'm glad you did, man. And if you enjoyed it, that's fine. I get it. I'm glad you did, man. I just didn't. But thanks for being a member. By the way, guys, I'm about 20 minutes behind on some of the super chats here, so I'm doing my best to catch up. But don't worry, we will get to the we'll get to all of them. Okay. Bobby Knight. Thanks for the super chat, Bobby Knight. What are your thoughts on modern day film criticism? Hey, that relates to the Siskel and Ebert question there. What are some things you dislike about the film criticism landscape these days? Well, really, film criticism anymore, I mean, what is it? I mean, what is film criticism? Is it some kid on YouTube giving his thoughts on a movie? Is it a YouTube video talking about a movie? Is it more of a discussion about a movie? Or is it some little blurb you read on Rotten Tomatoes that's 1 sentence long with a fucking tomato or a splattered tomato? What is film criticism anymore? What is it? I don't know what it is. Really, it's basically just someone's opinion on a movie, right? I mean, and then my thing is, and we can dive into film criticism for one moment here. I prefer a discussion about a film. I don't like when people preach or lecture to their audience about a film. So I like a discussion. That's what I prefer when it comes to film criticism. But really, when it comes to people consuming film criticism, that's where it gets really interesting. Sometimes I get comments on movie reviews and they're like, John, you said everything I was thinking. Thank you. And that is flattering, and I do like that, and I do appreciate it. I'm glad we had the same thoughts. But sometimes I'm it's okay if we don't share the same thoughts. Sometimes I'm hoping you come here and I say something maybe you didn't think about when you watch the movie, or maybe I bring up a topic you like it went over your head, or maybe in the comment section you tell me something I didn't know. That's what I like. You know, I like when someone watches a review and they give like they don't necessarily agree with your opinion, but like they're like, oh, okay, yeah, I get where you're coming from with that, but I liked it more than you, and like I like things like that. But anymore, it feels like with the YouTube landscape, or at least what I see mostly nowadays, is people want to watch movie reviews that echo their own exact thoughts right back at them. It's almost to the point where you go into the bathroom, you stare into the mirror, and you just say everything about a movie that you liked or didn't like, and that's the video you want to watch. Just so unspewing your own thoughts and opinions back to you to have this like sense of accreditation. And I feel like people specifically go to YouTube channels that give them that exact same thing. Rather than like giving them a new thought to maybe chew on, they just want to hear all the same shit they already know puked back onto them. Why am I using terms like puke? I don't know. But either way, I think that's my biggest nitpick with like film criticism nowadays, especially when it comes to like YouTube. Like no one can just take a different opinion anymore. Like they can't do it. Like it hurts. Like they can't do it. I'm like, it's just a movie, man. You can love it. I can hate it. But like, here's my opinions. Now put your opinions here and don't just hate me because my opinions are different. Like I noticed that on my Scream first reaction. Like some people are like, take this with a grain of salt. I haven't actually seen the movie yet, but this guy's not a diehard fan of the franchise. That's why he didn't love it. And isn't that just the most biased thing you've ever heard? Like, so you are a diehard fan of the franchise and you're going to love it no matter what. So we should listen to your opinion? Seems biased. I'd rather listen to someone's opinion who doesn't necessarily love the franchise. Those are my quick thoughts on film criticism on YouTube. At this point in life, I just say whatever I want to, and I just don't care anymore. I don't care. You know, for years and years on YouTube, you want to know how you get more followers and more likes on a video when it comes to movie reviews? You just act like you're positive. No matter what you say, you just say it with a smile on your face and act positive. And that's all it takes, I assure you. Some people do that and they get away with it very well. I can't do it. I can't put a fake facade on this face and give you lies. I give you the truth, even if it's not what you want, but it's what you need. All right, let's go to the next question. I hope I answered your question there, and I think I did. And that's why we're 25 minutes behind right now. What do you guys think about film criticism? Let me know in the comments section. I'm curious what you guys have to say. Never fold, John. I won't. Thanks for the information. Some of those may be okay. I don't know what we're talking about. Okay, let's keep going here. My brain hurts. I forgot where I was at. I just went on a rant and I literally blacked out. All right, we have a lot of questions. Some good ones. All right. Night King 01 says, you cannot take Scream 5 seriously because how can these killers overpower these people? Also, Courtney Cox looks like a skeleton. I actually thought Courtney Cox looked better in this movie than she has in a lot of other films. Angelina Jolie, what you just said about Courtney Cox could apply to Angelina Jolie at some point. But, yeah, yes, when you know who the killers are, and when you see the way the way Ghostface kills his victims in this movie, you're just like, that makes no sense whatsoever. That makes zero sense. It makes like, how did this 5'5" person go to being 6'2" and stronger than a power lifter? I don't know, because that's how. Just slop. It's sloppily made, sloppily written, and they don't care. MVS says, if you're looking to post a new review, F9 will give you plenty of material and could potentially become one of your best reviews, worst one yet. Yeah, man, I still can't bring myself to watch it. I really can't. I have it on 4K. I've been debating what I want to do with it. Do I want to watch it or do I just want to blow it up? Those are my two options. I'm not that desperate yet, but one day I might consider it. Crimson King says, if you like Metallica, but what about Megadeth? I like me some Megadeth. I'm just way more of a Metallica fan, but I like Megadeth. I like the song "Angry Again." It was actually on the Last Action Hero soundtrack. I love that. Someone says film criticism sucks. Yes. All right. Someone said Stuckman is positive. Yeah, well, Stuckman he said he's only going to review movies he generally likes. He's not going to hate on movies anymore and review a movie that he would give a negative grade to. So, typically if you see a review of a movie from him, he's going to give it a positive grade. Michael Parton, horror films looking forward to this year are Texas Chainsaw Massacre, The Black Phone, Nope, Salem's Lot, Don't Worry Darling, maybe Halloween Ends, Evil Dead Rise of Hell, and Hellraiser. Yeah, a lot of remakes this year, right? The Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie coming to Netflix, that does interest me. I've always been a Texas Chainsaw Massacre fan. I think the character Leatherface is just perfect. And the thing I like about Texas Chainsaw Massacre is it's not this fantastical villain. Like, there is a guy who just cuts people's faces off, wears that shit, and chases you with a chainsaw through the woods. That is terrifying because that can happen. So I'm looking forward to that. But with all those movies you mentioned, I don't have a lot of faith in any of them. But I do want to see them. Halloween Ends, at this point, I'm just like, please end. Like just do something, please. Something different. Let's stop having... what is it? Danny... What's the guy who's producing and writing the screenplays? Danny, I forget his... I forget it. Whatever. But yeah, I think they need new screenwriters for the Halloween movies. Salem's Lot, it could be a good remake, but at the same time, like, remakes scare me anymore in life. David and thanks for the question, Michael. David Felter says, "Hey John, I just rewatched the Dark Knight trilogy. Hadn't seen any of them in over 10 years. How did you go 10 years and not see any of those films?" Yeah, Danny McBride was who I was thinking of. Yeah. Like, why is he producing or writing anything for a Halloween movie? It's not the right mix. But either way, back to your question. My favorite part of them is Gotham and the politics of it and Batman. While still riveting, it is honestly my least favorite part of them. Thoughts? So I think your question was worded a little bit weird, maybe. So your least favorite, you said your favorite part is Gotham and the politics of it and Batman. But you also said it's your least favorite part. I get what you're saying there. You know what my biggest complaint with the I felt like I'll pick on the Dark Knight. I'll pick on the Dark Knight. My biggest issue with that movie is I love the practical effects. I love how it was shot in Chicago. I love that it doesn't look like it's on a soundstage. But man, oh man, Gotham City in the Dark Knight just looks like Chicago. It does not look like Gotham City. It doesn't look like these dirty, seedy streets of Gotham City where anything can happen. You know, it looks way too clean and way too much like just Chicago. I thought they could have used maybe a little more set dressing or maybe change that up a little bit. That's like my biggest complaint with it. As far as everything else, I don't really mind the politics too much. I thought Batman could have used his detective skills a little bit more, but we are going to get that in the new Batman movie. David Coe says, I can't stand a natural exposition in movies. Curious what you thought of the exchange between Gale and Dewey in Scream 5. I thought it was unnatural. Yeah, everything in that movie felt unnatural. It felt like really shoehorned in. It's like, oh, hey, what are you doing here? Oh, hey, what are you doing here? Okay, haha. We're just one-dimensional characters all of a sudden. I do know what you're talking about. Once again, it is a slasher movie, and I understand the forgiveness level of slasher films is higher than normal because I get it. It's a slasher flick. Sometimes being corny and over the top, it makes complete sense. But once again, when it comes back to my biggest issue is show me something I haven't seen before. Like, give me what I want, but show me something I haven't seen before as well. And it just didn't do any of that. And I also thought Dewey and Gale were sort of... I actually thought they could have done more with them. I really did, actually. Some people might have been content with what they got. I actually have this thing, and I will talk about it if I do a spoiler video of Scream 5. But I have this... I think I can tell you a better ending to what Scream 5 should have been than what we got. I think there was room for a twist on top of a twist that we didn't get, but it could have easily happened. And I'll just leave it there. Rick LP says, hope the Batman makes it on HBO Max day one. It's not, man. It's already been mentioned. It's not coming to HBO Max day one. It's coming out on HBO Max in April. I think Batman comes out on HBO Max April 19th. I think I'm right. I could be wrong, but that's also my birthday. So happy birthday to me. Yeah, I think that's right. I know it's definitely coming out a month later though. Jason Nelson. No, I think it's 45 days later. I think that's the agreement. It's 45 days later after the initial theatrical release. Jason Nelson says, I rented Snake Eyes. How big of a mistake was it? Jason, here's what you need to do to punish yourself for your crimes against humanity. Put your hand out. I mean this, Jason. Do it. And slap it. And you're forgiven. Big mistake. James Dozier says, thoughts on the film The Departed? Love it, man. One of my favorite modern-day Scorsese films and probably one of the best remakes ever made. Hey, where's your father? Don't fuck my mother. I love it, man. Love The Departed. The next one comes from Majestic Beast 01. What's a movie you love but everyone else hates? And a movie you hate but everyone else loves? Scream 5. That's the one I hate. One that everyone hates, a movie I love. I do love Over the Top. Not many people do. But I'm trying to think of a movie like I love that no one gives a shit about. I'm trying to think of something. Oh, you know a movie I like a lot? The Patriot with Mel Gibson. I really like that movie. I really enjoy it. Not many people like that movie. Not many people love it. And a lot of people probably could never watch that movie more than once, but I watch it like twice a year. I think it's underrated. There's one movie for you. Elliot Cecil says, I don't know if you should pet my cat or turn off lamp. I don't know if I should pet my cat or turn off a lamp. Did I say that once? Is that a quote I said, or is that from a movie? I feel like I said that once. And if I did say that once, can you link me to the video? Do I believe in aliens? Absolutely. Master and Commander, see, that's a movie I love. But I don't know anyone who hates Master and Commander. You know what I mean? Like, it's underappreciated, but going to the question, I don't know anyone who hates it per se. Someone said they like Birds of Prey. That's okay, man. We can accept everyone here on the live show. But it doesn't mean we have to agree with you. All right, the next one comes from Michael Parton. Hey, how do you feel about Batgirl movie considering Michael Keaton and J.K. Simmons and rumors that Robin will show up, and why is it only going to HBO Max? So yeah, I'm a little confused on the Batgirl movie. Maybe it's because I don't really care about it, but okay, so I know there's a Batgirl thing in the works. Now, is this a movie or a series? Because it would definitely lend itself better to a series. Now, I did see the first picture of the Batgirl outfit, which looks like it belongs on the CW. Now, I don't mind seeing a Batgirl movie. I really don't. I think there's a way to do it that could be a lot of fun. I think it could work. But if they're trying to like replace Batman in this Flash universe with Batgirl, that to me doesn't make a lot of sense. And I think that's a terrible decision. But if they're introducing Batgirl in the Flash movie to set her up for her own solo movie or TV series, that's fine. That doesn't mean she has to be like the new Batman of the Justice League by any means. At least that's what I'm hoping. But who knows? Because once again, the screenplay of the new Flash film is written by the same writer of Birds of Prey. So anything terrible could happen. Derek Hackett says, did you ever see the 2010 True Grit? Thoughts? And thanks for being a member, Derek. I have seen Jeff Bridges' 2010 True Grit. I liked it. That's young Haley Steinfeld, right? I liked it. I watched it once, and it was okay. It was okay. You know, not one of my favorite Western movies by any means. But I would like actually, you know, talking about it now, I'd like to go back and revisit it, actually. I think I could go back and rewatch that again at some point. Yeah, but it's been a while since I've seen it. Dustin Rich says, can we go through a car wash while making out? I don't know if we need to do all of that. We can go through a car wash. We can embrace each other. But I don't think we need to go further than that. But yeah, actually, speaking of the car wash, I just went to the car wash yesterday. So good. Nothing better than cleaning your car in the wintertime. Just cleaning off all that filth and debris. Oh, you come out fresh on the other side. It's like Andy Dufresne. He crawled through 500 yards of shit smelling madness I can't even imagine. And he came out clean on the other side. All right. Let's keep going here. That just gave me an idea for a video. All right. The next one comes from Halloum. Movies are epic because of the escape they give you. So what's one movie that gives you the most? Well, that really depends. But for me, it's all about time period films. Because something about going back, especially into another time period, it gets rid of all the modern day technologies and stress. And I like when there's not characters that have smartphones in their hands. I don't know what it is. Any movie that revolves around like smartphones in your hand or something like that, I hate. So like a movie like Gladiator for me is pure escapism. It's a great movie about retribution. Just pure escapism. Another movie with pure escapism is something like Django Unchained or The Hateful Eight. Or I actually just watched Once Upon a Time in Hollywood for like the 10th time yesterday. And every time I watch that movie, I like it more and more. So those are a few movies I watch for escapism. But you can watch stupid shit. You can watch movies like Waterworld. You can watch, this isn't stupid, but like Mad Max Fury Road. Pure escapism. Just fun, unapologetic action, well-filmed, just well-acted, and it just takes you to another place, and it looks so great on your TV. You know, those bright, warm, vivid colors, just something about the color palette of Mad Max Fury Road makes me happy. You know, it's like warm and inviting. And then that desert scenery sort of makes me thirsty. And just talking about it makes me thirsty right now. Okay. The next one comes from St. Silo. Do you smoke weed? Best stoner movie. I don't smoke weed, no. Now, do I occasionally chew a gummy containing some kind of form? Yes. Yes. But not I don't smoke it. But I will say, after an edible, I watch movies more clear than I've ever seen them. Like, I've seen movies I've seen 100 times. Then you have an edible and you watch the movie again, and you're just like, I can pick it apart. Like, I'm seeing things in another dimension I never thought I would see. Like, I see the movie for what it really is. It's either a good thing or a bad thing. Best stoner movie, Dazed and Confused, man. That's the best stoner movie. Brad says, have you seen the short, The Back Rooms? It's on TV. I have not seen The Back Rooms, Brad. Justin Russell says, 1993, Three Musketeers or Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. One's got to go forever. I like both of them, but I think Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves is by far the superior movie. And also another movie about a time period movie with pure escapism. I like Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. Another Morgan Freeman movie. I like Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. Oddly enough, might be in my top 25 movies of all time. I know, maybe it's a guilty pleasure, but I like it. They just don't make movies like that anymore. That's what I love, you know, just adventurous. Adventurous. That's not even a word. But I love adventure movies. Judge Coffee says, I'll be in Fort Wayne for work. Is barbecue any good? Yeah, there's a place called Shigs and Pit. Or is it Pits and Shigs? Shigs and Pit? Shigs and Pit. Go to that place in Fort Wayne for barbecue. I think you'll enjoy it, man. Joshua Garrison says, who's your favorite Jackass member? For me, it was always Bam Margera. because more or less he sort of started Jackass with CKY before Jackass was a thing. And it's really unfortunate that he had some substance abuse issues. But I always liked Bam Margera because he was sort of like a jack of all trades, and he would shoot his own videos, he would edit his own videos. I always kind of like related to that. So probably Bam Margera, who's actually in fact not in the new Jackass movie because he had some issues. But he was always sort of my favorite member. PSI says, what are your thoughts on the movie Pontypool? I haven't seen Pontypool, man. Pontypool? I gotta look this up now. What the fuck? Pontypool, a 2008 horror psychological thriller. It's 1 hour and 35 minutes long. The two scores are like a 5 out of 5, and the one under that's a 1 out of 5. Oh man. So yeah, I haven't seen it. I've not seen Pontypool, man. DM5271. Hi and good night. Did you watch any Saturday morning cartoons? And if so, what were some of your favorites? Well, thank you, Dan. And thanks for the question, man. And thanks for the very generous super chat. And thank you, man. Man, some of my favorite Saturday morning cartoons, it wasn't even a Saturday morning cartoon. That was the odd thing. But the Batman animated series back in the early 90s in elementary school, that shit would not play on Saturday mornings. Maybe it did, but it used to play after school. And it would come on like around like 4 o'clock, I want to say, maybe around 4 o'clock. I could be wrong, but I used to ride the bus home from school. And if my bus was delayed by even 1 minute, I would miss the Batman animated series, or miss like 15 minutes of it, and it would piss me off so much. So anytime my bus driver like wasn't driving fast enough, or kids were taking too long to get off the bus, I was like, come on, hurry up, get off the fucking bus, we gotta go home and watch Batman. I remember that. So that was more of an afternoon show. I'm trying to think of like Saturday morning cartoons. It's just weird. Like I remember watching cartoons at every other point other than Saturday morning. Like, I didn't want to wake up on Saturday morning and watch cartoons. I'm a kid. I'm going to watch that shit at nighttime. But I remember watching shows like Doug. I remember, like, Beavis and Butthead was, like, always, like, cool to, like, catch when you saw it on MTV. It was a weird time as a kid because I never knew when things were going to be on. Like, I know we had TV guides and things like that in the early 90s. I'm very aware we had things like that. But for some odd reason, my stupid kid brain never knew when things were on. Like my brain was like, okay, Batman comes on after school, but I don't know what time that is. Like, I just knew it was after school. Like, I didn't know when any other shows would come on. I do remember actually this was like 4th, 5th grade. I remember Nickelodeon would have on Friday nights, I forget what they called it. It was called like Friday Night something, where they'd have like 4 really good shows on Nickelodeon back to back to back. And it was like shows I really wanted to watch. Like, I remember one was like the Keenan and Kel show. It was something else. But I remember like that was like my Friday. It was TGI Fridays. Holy shit, that's what it was called. Was that on Nickelodeon? Or was that Disney? Either one. That's what I used to do on Friday nights as a kid. Someone help me out in the comments section. Tell me what I'm talking about. But thanks for the question, Dan. Claudia Rogajan says, have you seen the show Warrior? It's awesome. I did watch the first season or 2 of Warrior. I did enjoy it. I did like the messed up brother who's like all crazy. He was also in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre remake from the early 2000s. I did like it. It had Frank Grillo in it. I didn't finish it, but from what I saw, I did overall like the show. I did. I thought it was actually fairly well done. TGI Friday wasn't on Nick, though. Yeah, was it on Disney or something? Okay. Nickelodeon had Snick. TGI Friday was on ABC. Okay, that would make sense, yes. Because didn't they also have Boy Meets World? And they had like 3 other shows after that? Okay. Man, you unlocked all these memories from my brain. Okay. Whew. All right, let's keep going. Dan says, "Hey John, have you heard about The Power of the Dog with Benedict Cumberbatch? I heard good things. By the way, I saw No Time to Die and it was a little cheesy but satisfying." Yeah, but the thing about No Time to Die was it brought back those classic James Bond moments of cheese, but just enough, and they did it just right. I don't think the movie's perfect by any means, but the cheese I actually enjoyed. And no, I have not heard of The Power of the Dog with Benedict Cumberbatch. I have not heard of that. I don't know what that is. But thanks for the question. Joseph Knoll says, "What do you think about it when people go watch a movie like Spider-Man No Way Home and they've never seen the previous movies? I find it annoying." I don't really care if they've seen the previous movies or not. That's up to them. It doesn't bother me either way, man. It really doesn't. You know what I don't like, though? I don't like when people tell people, yeah, you have to watch all 75 movies in this franchise to understand this new movie. It's like, it's not that complicated. It's really not. Like, the movie might mean more to you if you watch it and you know the intimate backstory. But, like, in most movies, people tell you need to go watch. Like, the new Scream movie. You don't need to watch any of the other Scream movies. You really don't. Will you actually enjoy it more if you watch the first Scream movie? Maybe, but I think if you watch the first Scream movie, it'll make you hate this newest movie. It'll make you hate the new movie more. Because then you compare it, you're like, it's not, the quality's less. So sometimes yes, sometimes no. I think when it comes to like a Spider-Man movie, it's just go watch it. Spider-Man swinging around, you know, it's a blockbuster entertainment. Night King 01 says, "Sometimes I like to watch John Cameo to see what film criticism looks like from a total insane person with the weirdest takes." Well, you can watch Grace Randolph if you want that shit. Well, I don't know. I'm sure she's a nice lady. I just 98% of the time do not agree with what she's saying. Okay. Ethan 1, Joy Division fan, please. Joy Division fan, please? I don't know what that means, Ethan. Joy Division fan, please? Maybe I'm stupid. I don't know what that means, man. Claudia Rogan says, "Batman Begins looks more like Gotham hellish." Yeah, Batman Begins got the tone of Gotham sort of right. It looks decrepit and gross. But that's because a lot of the movie took place in the Narrows, which was like basically a third world colonization in Gotham City where people lived in shacks, which coincidentally a lot of cities look like now, with people pooping in the streets. But either way, it did get that tone right. And the thing about the first Batman Begins film was a large portion of that was actually shot in studios in the UK. So they built like a miniature Gotham City. And like after that, I think Nolan wanted to do more practical things in actual real cities, which I thought was, that's the one thing I think could utilize a set. But yeah, I did like how Gotham looked in the first Batman Begins. It looked completely run down. It looked scary and chaotic. Average Gamer says, "Oh, my ear." Yeah, man, that's my ear every time. I agree. Ethan 1 says, "Toby on Doctor Strange 2 thoughts." Oh, Toby and Doctor Strange 2. I don't know. I don't know if he's coming back as a cameo. I couldn't tell you. I mean, it would be nice. There's no reason not to have like another quick cameo with whatever Toby's doing and Andrew Garfield's doing. Like, I would like to see that. I think if you want to just give complete fan service in the new Doctor Strange movie, then just do it. And like, it'd be nice to see like Toby, like living his life as a dad, married to Kristen Dunst, and like showing that aspect of his life for like a minute. That'd be kind of cool. And then you could see Andrew Garfield, you know, living alone in misery because he lost everyone he loved. I don't know. I'm sorry I'm laughing at that. And then, you know, that could be cool too. So I think you could do anything you want in the new Doctor Strange movie. So the possibilities are unlimited. It's just, what are they going to do? You know, I hope they do it right. And sometimes too much can be overwhelming. Like, don't just do it for the sake of doing it. Max Neugenbauer says, "Broken Arrow is another great movie nobody talks about." Oh, gosh. You want to see a great mid-90s action movie? Broken Arrow, man. All day for sure. Just like John Travolta just chewing up the scenery. Oh, it's so good. So good. Yeah, that's another one. I love me some Broken Arrow. A great score, too, from Zimmer in that. James Doshier says, Margot Robbie in Wolf of Wall Street is very beautiful. I agree. And mommy isn't going to... Wait, what does she say? And from now on, mommy's not going to be wearing underwear around the house or whatever. It's like, yeah, like, I was a fan of that movie. It was a good movie. And that's another... Like, we don't get movies like that enough. Like, it takes a guy who's in his 70s to direct a movie like that. Isn't that crazy? Like Mad Max Fury Road, directed by a guy who's like 70 years old. Wolf of Wall Street, directed by Martin Scorsese, like 70 years. It's crazy. Like these older directors have more vitality and take more risks than these young directors in Hollywood. Why? Because they have nothing to lose. They're not afraid. And that's what I appreciate. I almost need to make a video about this. Get me worked up, guys. Skeptical Thomas says, any plans to review DC's Peacemaker? First 3 episodes were incredible. Also, are you looking forward to Cyrano, the Peter Dinklage movie at the end of January? I know the story of Cyrano. Maybe I'll check it out. I remember the Steve Martin adaptation of that. I do want to watch Peacemaker. I'll probably start watching it with a friend of mine soon, just for something to do. So yeah, I'll check it out. It's not like my most anticipated new series coming out by any means, but because they aren't woke, I agree with you. It's true. They're not afraid just to tell a story. All right, the next one. Rebel Rock says, better trilogy, Back to the Future or The Dark Knight? I hate that question, man. I hate it. I hate that question. If it was a rainy day and I was feeling a little bit down, I'm probably going to watch Back to the Future. And the more I rewatch The Dark Knight Rises, the more I do not love it as much as I once did. In all fairness, I still love a lot about it. There's like I love like 60% of the movie, but then like that other 40% just felt really lazy and like sloppy. But then you have like Back to the Future 3. And it's just like, it's not bad, but it's definitely like the weakest. So, I had a weird thought the other day, and I'd like to just waste more time talking about it because I'm only like, how far am I behind now? I'm only 11 minutes behind in the questions. I was thinking the other day, I was like, what if Back to the Future 2 was actually Back to the Future 3 and Back to the Future 3 was actually Back to the Future 2? Like, wouldn't if they had like sort of like the same storyline in Back to the Future 2 and put it in the third final installment, wouldn't that be a much bigger epic ending to the trilogy? Like, because he's going back to where it all started in the 1950s. Then he's in the future. Like, I just think, like, what they did with part 2 should have been in part 3, and part 3 should have been, like, part 2. Maybe I'm mistaken. Either way. I remember the original concept. They didn't want to go to the Wild West in Back to the Future 3. They wanted to go, like, I feel like they wanted to go to another time period. And I can't recall exactly what it was. I want to say they wanted to go to another time period. Gosh, I can't recall. But either way, I think Back to the Future might be the more happy-go-lucky franchise, which just lends itself to be maybe slightly more rewatchable. I mean, plus the DeLorean, man. But then again, the Batmobile, the Tumbler. It's a toss-up. Flip a coin. Potato Bun says, I used to be a wimp, but then I came across videos of you going to Walmart at 2 a.m. to buy frozen pizzas and energy drinks, and that's when I became a man. Well, thank you for that. I like to think I played a father figure in a lot of young men's lives growing up. If only I could have been so lucky. No, thanks for that, man. I appreciate that. I still do that. The only unfortunate thing is Walmart does not open. It's not open 24 hours anymore. Like, I hate the reality that we live in now. Walmart closes at 11 o'clock. What is this? Communist China? Hayden Cash says, "Hey John, have you seen the new movie Antlers yet? I have not seen it. I love reading your comments on wrestling things on Facebook when people get upset over it." Haha. Yeah, I get this weird urge. So I follow some like wrestling like fan pages on Facebook. It's like the only thing I look at on Facebook. And where people like give the scoops and the speculation and what's happening at the next pay-per-view. And sometimes I read comments on there and I just have to respond to them. I love it. I love when people get so worked up about wrestling. And I'm just like, it's okay. It's not real. But yeah, man. Thank you for that. Claudia Rogajon says, Batman, the animated series, had a prime time slot. It did indeed. The unfortunate thing is my school bus driver just never went fast enough to get me home in time to see it. Jayla Martin says, did you rewatch the Marvel films in chronological order? No, because there's like a handful of Marvel films I don't want to revisit, so I would just skip over them. So I didn't go back and watch them in chronological order ever. Like there's been a few times where like I watched like Captain America 1, 2, and like Civil War, but like in chronological order, no, I didn't. I didn't do that, no. I haven't, at least not yet. I didn't go back and rewatch all of them. Rebel Rock says, you ever watched The Challenge on MTV? I've been a diehard fan since 2003. All seasons are on Paramount Plus. I don't have Paramount Plus. I used to watch some of the MTV shows like The Challenge and Road Rules and like the challenge shows. I always wanted to be on one of them. Like watching it as a kid, I was like, I could do that. But then they like bungee jump off the side of a building. I'm like, I'm afraid of heights. Maybe I couldn't. But yeah, I did watch those. Rebel Rock says, Bang, Marry, Kill, Margot Robbie, Haley Steinfeld, Anna de Armas. Just, I don't want to kill any of them. So what kind of psycho do you think I am? You don't need to kill them. You can lock them in your basement forever. Let's go to the next question. The next one comes from Caleb Balayu. Oh, God. Hey, John, I got a question. What was your favorite guilty pleasure film? Mine was the CGI Alpha and Omega from 2010. Oh, I thought you were joking. I never watched that. I never saw it. Favorite guilty pleasure film? Probably Over the Top, in all seriousness. There's a lot of bad movies I enjoy, though. Like Roadhouse is another guilty pleasure movie. If you've never seen Roadhouse and you want to be a man, go watch Roadhouse. That'll make you a man. That'll instantly raise your testosterone levels by 325% right away. My recommendation to you. Claudia Rogajon says, Broken Arrow is so boring until the last shootout. I disagree with that. I completely disagree with that. That's an entertainment thrill ride in the desert. I'm going to disagree with you on that. I love me some Broken Arrow. Ethan Hunter White says, hot take, Affleck sucked, Robert will be better. Well, I mean, that's an assumption. So, I mean, I don't know. That's sort of an assumption to say he's going to be better when we haven't seen the movie yet, right? I like me some Affleck. I wish Ben Affleck got his solo outing as Batman, at least got his one solo movie, because it feels like such a waste that he didn't. But hey, with that said, I'm really looking forward to seeing Robert Pattinson as Batman. That's a shit I never thought I would say 5 years ago. David Filter says, what I meant is that the Batman is my least favorite part of the trilogy. Oh, now I get it. Okay, so when it comes to the Dark Knight trilogy, Batman was your least favorite aspect. That's interesting. He's great. I find the politics in the world of Gotham so much fun, more interesting and riveting. Sorry my question confused you. I don't speak English well. That's fine, man. But thanks for the question. Yeah, I get what you're saying. I get that Batman might be your least favorite aspect, I guess, in the Dark Knight trilogy. Like, you like everything surrounding it. Like, you like the villains more than you like Batman. But the thing is, Batman in his own movies typically is just a catalyst to tell the story through. It's sort of like, it's like Mad Max, right? Mad Max, he's sort of just the guy there that the story revolves around, but we're with Mad Max for the journey. It's not necessarily about him, but it's about everything else around him, and he's just stuck in this circumstance. So I from that aspect, I sort of get what you're saying, but I love me some Batman, so... Dustin Rich says, better suited villain, Hans Gruber or Agent Smith? I think Hans Gruber chews up the scenery. John McClane. Why do I always suck ass at that impression? I have to watch him do his. I'd have to watch him once to do a good Hans Gruber impression. Mr. Anderson. Yeah, well, we'll just say the new Agent Smith in the new Matrix movie was probably one of the worst villains of all time. But yeah, I think Hans Gruber was the better villain. I liked Agent Smith as an antagonist, but I just think there was more to Hans Gruber because he got to say more and just be more charismatic on screen. Z White says, hey man, strange question, but I'm genuinely curious. I don't mean to be insensitive and bring this up, but how do you think losing your father at a young age has shaped you into being who you are? Holy shit, we're getting deep here. Wow, this just turned into a live Q&A question about movies to a therapy visit. I think what it is it makes you, you have to use it. You have to use it like fuel for fire. You have to use that same motivation. Maybe not for vengeance, but you have to use that same thing that I'll give you an example. Maybe that's why I like the story of Batman so much. Young Bruce Wayne. He lost both of his parents in an alleyway, and then he uses that to motivate himself, to become more than a man, to become a symbol. And in some odd way, I sort of used that. Rather than use it as a soft spot, I use it to strengthen my emotions, right? So you just have to learn from it. You have to take something from it and move on. Life is fragile. It's really crazy. You'd be surprised. If you ever step outside of movies and TV shows, just all the bullshit, and you look at life for what it is, you realize how fragile it really is. Everything you have can be gone in just 1 second. And sometimes when you're having a bad day, what you need to do is just step outside of yourself for 1 minute and go, you know what? It's not that bad. So I hope I answered your question, man. But thanks for the question. And thanks for the super chat. Thank you. The next one. Night King 01 says, John, Warrior is a martial arts TV show that takes place in the 1800s. Were you thinking of Kingdom? Laugh out loud. I was thinking of Kingdom. Please forgive my sins against humanity. How dare I make a mistake? I want you guys to know something about me. I'm not the live action version of IMDb. I'm a dude. I don't have a microchip in my brain spewing out every answer about everything, right? So I do make mistakes occasionally, but I will explain my mistake. The reason I was thinking of Kingdom when you said Warrior, because Warrior is an MMA movie that happens to have Frank Grillo in it, who Frank Grillo is also in another TV series about MMA. It's about two brothers. It shares the same storyline, very similar, and that's why I got confused. So no, I have not seen Warrior, the one that takes place in the 1800s, but I have seen Kingdom. Thank you. Thank you for correcting me. Claudia Rogajon says, Affleck's performance is fine. His character is bad. Yeah, what they did with Bruce Wayne or Batman in some of the Snyder movies, I thought just do something else with what he's doing 90% of the time. It wasn't exactly what I wanted to see my version of Batman doing, but so be it. But I did like the bat suit in Batman v Superman. I will say that. Potato Bun says, if you could recreate any scene, it could be the don't just look at it scene. And don't just look at it, eat it. From American Psycho, Ewan Stuckman and the Flickster. What now? If I could recreate any scene, it'd probably be the scene in Over the Top at the very end where they're all sweaty and juicy arm wrestling. I think that's a great scene. Stuckman and I actually did recreate the scene in Predator where we do the handshake and you have the bicep scene. We actually did that with a lightsaber. We did it with the Predator scene meets Star Wars. There's a skit on my on this channel from 2010 or 11 or 12, probably 2012, where you can watch that video. What's the matter? Pushing too many pencils? Yeah, I remember that. So in a weird way, we recreated the scene we wanted to. Claudia Rojan says, nothing happens in Broken Arrow till the end. Didn't you already say that? I mean, a lot happens. They chase after a nuclear fucking warhead for 2 hours. What do you mean nothing happens? He steals a nuclear warhead. Then he chases after him in the desert for 2 hours trying to get it back. That's what happens. What do you mean nothing happens? Potato Bun says, sorry, my typos, John. I got too excited. Hey, we all get too excited. All right, guys, I'm going to answer just a few more questions. So, yeah, I'm going to, no more questions. Please don't type any more questions starting now because I am hungry. I'm very tired. I want to eat some pizza. And just the thought of that just gets my stomach rumbling. So I'll answer a few more questions. I'm going to wrap up this live show. But don't worry, we got a few more, so it's going to take a few minutes. So don't go anywhere just yet. And like I said, before you guys leave, this is the last time I'm going to let you know, after this live show goes up and after it's published on YouTube, once it's published, after it's done being live, go to the comment section, give the video a like, and leave a comment down below if you want a chance to win the Halloween Kills 4K. And then I will have the studio send it to you and I will message you. So if you do comment down below that you want it after the live show's over, keep a lookout for like a day and I'll randomly pick somebody. All right, let's keep going here. David Felter says, I'm sorry, John. I just want to say I'm a huge fan of yours. In 5 years, I've been watching you I'm a huge fan of yours. In 5 years, I will have been watching you for 10 years, and your videos actually helped me through some very intense surgeries in 2012. Oh, man. Okay, thanks for that. You're the reason I went on 2 a.m. adventures at Walmart. Love you, man. Well, thanks, David. I love you too, buddy. Well, I'm hoping you're good now, man. Hope the surgeries went well. Everything's good to go. But thank you for that. Thank you. Glad I could mildly entertain you. I like that. That's the stuff I like to hear on YouTube. That's what I like. Thanks for that. Claudia Rojan says, watch Warrior, man. It's on HBO Max. It's awesome. I'll look into it. I think I've been recommended to watch that a few times now that I think about it. There's just, dude, guys, there's so much shit to watch. At this point, I could never watch all of it. And if I did, I would just sit in front of my TV like this. It would look like Clockwork Orange. Just watching shit on TV all day. Kyle says, John, favorite Robert Zemeckis movie if you can't pick the Back to the Future trilogy. I'm glad you got rid of the Back to the Future trilogy because that makes it really fucking simple. Forrest Gump, baby. Forrest Gump. Robert Zemeckis is such an underrated director in my opinion. He really is. You want to have a comic book movie? I think Robert Zemeckis would direct a really good MCU comic book movie. Just look at some of the stuff he's done. So, and if I couldn't pick Forrest Gump right after that, I'd probably pick Robert Zemeckis. Maybe Castaway. I really like Castaway. Claudia Rojan says, and thanks for the question, Kyle. Claudia Rojan says, I got recognized Broken Arrow by you, John. Oh, I got recommended Broken Arrow by you, John. Yes, you did. And now you're saying nothing happens. And I'm just like, you have John Travolta, Christian Slater in a desert fighting over a nuclear warhead. Did you hear what I just said to you, young man? And nothing happens? What are we going to do with you, Claudia? What are we going to do with you? All right. Oh, someone said Roger Rabbit for Robert Zemeckis. Yeah, I like me some Roger Rabbit, but it's never been one of my favorites. Jessica Rabbit's cool. You played Patty Cake? Fucking, that's hilarious. I love it. But yeah, I like it. I prefer the other Robert Zemeckis movies. Someone said life is like a box of chocolates. Very true. That is the motto of today's theme. Life is like a box of chocolates. It very much is. It really is. Or sometimes life's like a Blu-ray, a 4K Blu-ray you get in the mail. And I threw it back there, but it was all... If you missed the first part of the live show, I definitely recommend going back and watching my unboxing of Juice on 4K. They literally sent me a Blu-ray that looked like a fucking crocodile ate it. Oh, man. All right. This will be the last question, guys. Night King 01 says, Warrior, a period crime show with martial arts, is epic. No, everything you're saying about it sells me on watching it. I'm not opposed to watching it. It's just at what point after which series do I watch it? You know what I mean? So I'll savor the flavor. It's on the back burner. I'll wait till that rainy day to start it. And then once I do, I'll binge watch it and I won't leave my house for 3 days. So, all right, guys, as always, thank you guys so much for watching. Thanks for listening. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for the questions. And most importantly, just thanks for coming back once again, guys. As far as like a few quick updates go, I will do another live show in like 2 days. I want to do another one. Also, I will have probably a Scream spoiler review. I do have my top 10 best and worst movies still coming out because it's still January. There's nothing else to talk about. So I was like, I'll just wait until the end of January to put those out. So I will put those videos out over on the FlickPig channel. And we also will have a new Flick Trip video. Something just flew off my head. I don't know what that was. We will have a new Flick Trip video coming before the end of this month too. I have a few ideas. I'm not exactly sure what I'm going to do. So if you guys have ideas for a new Flick Trip video, what would you guys like to see? Something new, something fresh? Or it can be the same shit I've already done 50 times because that's okay too. As always, guys, thanks for watching. Leave your thoughts, your opinions down below. But most importantly, I will mention it one more time. Once this video is published to YouTube, not right now because it's live. Once the video is not live and it publishes to YouTube so you can watch the replay of it, comment in the comment section under the video. Give it a like if you want to win this, okay? And I will randomly pick someone and I will have the studio send it to you directly. That's what they're doing. They're doing a giveaway contest for this shit right here. I wasn't a big fan of the movie, but if you like it and you want some free shit, leave that comment down below after this is published. Give it like 10 minutes and it should be published on YouTube, guys. As always, thanks for watching. And someone said almost at 100,000, man. Yeah, we're so close. Let's get this channel to 100,000 because it will accreditate me as a person, and it would be awesome. So, but we're so close. Take care, guys. Have a good night, and I'll see you very soon. Bye-bye. I'm back. Here's the after credit scene because Night King 01 had one more question, and I leave no man behind. This is the last question. I'm leaving after this. Laugh aloud. What happened to Broken Arrow when he sets off the nuke underground and then gets chased and impaled? Yeah, that's what happens. That's cool. The ending scene in Broken Arrow, I'm spoiling it. It came out in 1996. When that nuclear warhead goes through John Travolta's body, that is just beautiful. That's a beautiful scene. And it instantly turns into a mannequin for 1 second. But that's okay. I appreciate things like that. Okay. Thank you for the question. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.